childhood interest in modern painting and a photographer father allowed Steve Harlow to experience art throughout his Los Angeles, California upbringing. Although throwing paint around the garage floor was too much for his mother, young Steve was allowed to draw large abstract patterns and colored chalk in the cement driveway of a working-class family's home in Southgate. And then as 13-year-old Steve met writer Lawrence Lipton, who one day asked him to draw a chalk drawing on the cement outside the famous beat performance cafe, The Gaslight. Throughout 5 decades, Steve Harlow has attempted to synthesize the New York and San Francisco schools of painting and further his work through the use of photography as a painting tool.
Hi, we're here with artist Steve Harlow. Steve, my first question is, could you give us a little overview of your history, how you got started painting?
Yeah, I was always a painter. Used to draw as a kid and draw in the sand, draw with chalk on cement, and that was painting to me. I think I first encountered paint in kindergarten and didn't like it much, but I knew I was an artist. My whole life has been about deciding what that meant. You know, being an artist has taken very, very many forms during my life.
There was a phrase in your website that describes your approach to art as man as nature. Could you explain that?
Yes. There's always, in the past, been a conflict about whether art is interpreting nature, imitating nature. I think of art as being nature, and man is nature is just a way of saying that there can't possibly be anything on this earth that's not natural, and all processes of man-made activities are natural activities and are a part of nature.
Do you feel, I'm not sure whether this plays into what you're saying, but do you feel that art is any more relevant whether the message is consciously constructed or is something unconscious that the artist doesn't really understand as they make it? Does that bear to the relevance of it to you? Yeah,
it does a lot, because I think that if the message is conscious, it's not, the art is not full enough. Like, art really needs to be both conscious and unconscious. And the message is in the process, and the message is in the viewer. The message is in the time and place of witnessing or participating in the art. So the message is always important. It should be there. You should know what you want to be doing. But you can't ever define it completely. And it's always open for things that seem outside of the world of thought, really, more in the world of physical action.
Can you give us an overview of your current project, The Ghost Dance?
Yeah, The Ghost Dance is a project that Ruth and I started as a collaboration, a way of painting together. And we envisioned a very large multimedia event, which really we don't have enough time to do ourselves, so we want to invite other people to help us out, actually. We've put it on the internet now as a way of recruiting people to participate in making work that is associated with our Ghost Dance project. The Ghost Dance is about making life-size figures, or figures that represent yourself as a ghost dancer, and then having those figures cut in pieces, really, and interchanged with other people's figures of themselves as a metaphor for how we all belong to life on Earth here. We all have the same patterns of biological life, and that there's a flow of energy, a flow of materials that manifests our being. So we would expect people to manifest their ghost dance image, and then allow that image to be dispersed and interchanged with other people's images that they've made in a similar way.
An element of the original Ghost Dance was the idea of visions, building on visions. Can you explain that further?
Yeah, it's a very full story, very sad story. but it's basically based on hope, and that's the part of it that we want to concentrate on. It's the ghost dancers in the late 19th century would stand in a circle all facing each other, and they would shuffle around singing songs that came from one person's vision until they went into a trance. That person, if someone fell into a trance, they would normally fall down on the ground. They would go unconscious for a while, and the leader of the ghost dance would bring them back to consciousness and ask them to explain their vision. The leader would then put that vision in the form of a song, and the group of people would sing songs based on that person's vision until the next person fell out, had another vision, and that became the song. And these dances would go on for days and days, and the ideas associated with them, building on one person's vision, building on another person's vision, the ideas became very elaborate. It was quite a beautiful ceremony, and it was very taxing and tiring, but focusing. It was misinterpreted by the white settlers around, who were pretty much ignorant and afraid of what the Indians might be doing with this dance, and it was very threatening to the white settlers, and the military, the government, pretty much squashed all who participated in it. We'd like now to resurrect some of the form, and particularly the hopefulness that they felt in performing this ceremony, and try to translate that into art now.
I understand the ghost dance has a relationship to the story of Wounded Knee, which a lot of people have heard of.
Yeah, it does. Very tragic one. One of the ideas that developed out of the ghost dance in this elaborate way of people's building on other people's ideas, they began to feel like if clothing was designed in certain ways, had certain symbols on them for shirts that they'd wear in the dances or dresses, that those designs and the thought that went into them would make the clothing invulnerable to white men's bullets. The Indians wearing shirts like that with the concept that they wouldn't be killed by bullets were a little more willing to put themselves in a situation where they could be shot at by the military. And one of those was Sitting Bull's people at Wounded Knee. Sitting Bull, incidentally, had gotten interested in the ghost dance after he came back from Europe and North America touring with the Wild Bill Cody Wild West show. Then got into the ghost dance and became got his people involved in the ghost dance movement. And they were a separate group that was being chased by the military, and they got surrounded, and the people felt that they would be protected by the ghost dance shirts and dresses that they were wearing, and of course they weren't. They were mowed down by automatic weapons.
For people out there who would be interested in participating in your ghost dance project, how would they go about it?
They could go to ghostdancers.com, check out what we've done there, and we'll have instructions on how they can make their own ghost dancers images that can be used in that project. They can also, once they understand the format, and if they're interested, they can make their own ghost dance on their own websites, and we'll participate with them.
Is it open to different forms of art?
Ultimately, the internet version is only open to what we can get on the web right now, but in ultimate sense, our project envisions sculpture and performance, installation, theater, film, all the forms of art that we know about, as well as the painting, which we started. So people and music as well. People from any form of art can do art that will relate to this project if they choose.
From the the echoes in St. Peter's Square, a hotel in Washington.
Why don't you take off some time? It's a first public comment on the nuclear disaster in Chernobyl. We'll tell you what he had to say. He's harassed and subjugated and tortured his wife.
The old man was Trump.